The type of research evolving from Institute is aiming to put forward the depopulation and the transhumanism agenda. These corporations view people as commodities and sources of data, all the way down to the biological processes to very genetics of human beings. China's maternal and infant healthcare law pre-selects certain fetuses for abortion if any kind of hereditary disease or deformity is found. During the planning stage of COVID-19, various psychotic experiments took place at the of virology, like the bat harvesting, coronavirus gain of function research, DNA surveillance testing programs, and experimental gene therapies were just the beginning of those experiments. Over the past decade, virology also developed interspecies hybrids, which are created by injecting human embryonic stem cells into the embryos from another species. But they always have an excuse in the name of their goal for the experiment, which is to induce the growth of targeted human organs. The type of research evolving from Institute is aiming to put forward the depopulation and the transhumanism agenda by developing interspecies hybrids and gaining control on biological superintelligence for global dominance. And before talking about how they will implement the transhumanism and depopulation agenda, let me explain you that how it's all started. A genome sequencing company, BZI Shenzhen from China, is in the process of acquiring and sequencing the DNA of Americans. BZI plans to become a biovehicle that will collect the world's biological information and make it universally accessible and useful, according to their claims. BZI has worked with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation since 2012 on agricultural development and global health, and we wonder why we are so healthy. Stephen Su, a scientific advisor to BZI, spoke about harvesting statistical power from an exceptional person, which they refer to as someone with an IQ score of at least 160. These corporations view people as commodities and sources of data, all the way down to the biological processes to very genetics of human beings, so that they can sell it or harvest it without your consent. And there are also similar cases, like the New Jersey Department of Health is keeping the leftover blood of newborns from 23 years without the consent from their parents. Texas sold the blood samples of newborns to Pentagon. Minnesota and Michigan are also involved in similar cases. Also, they are facing lawsuits from parents. But there are some people who will say every company is collecting data, so we don't care. Well, you don't even care for your future generation while you are jacking up to Pornhub. I'll tell you why. But people, those who care for their future generations, need to focus on the genome sequencing companies, who are trying to identify and isolate the smartest genetic samples to optimize and transplant genetic material into future generations of people. So why? As these companies gives hope to people that they will be designing a superior species of human. But will they? So as I said before, they always have an excuse in the name of their goal. So to defend their excuse, they have lawyers in the name of eugenicists. And currently they are defending for an idea of procreative beneficence to bring it in action, which means selecting the genetically and physically efficient child and terminating the inefficient one. But many bioethics institutions and authors have mentioned about the principles of procreative beneficence is a fallacy in itself. But those eugenicists claim that it is humanity's duty to build genetic code for future generations. They believe that failing to do so is a form of genetic neglect, which is similar to child abuse. Apart from that, laws are being crafted in China to eradicate lesser traits from the population pool, with genetic testing which will allow the experts to recommend which babies to be aborted. Well, China's maternal and infant healthcare law pre-selects certain fetuses for abortion if any kind of hereditary disease or deformity is found while screening the embryo. It won't be long before babies are selected for termination if they are pre-diagnosed with an inadequate IQ. And it is interesting to see that these type of technologies are already on lines in countries like China, and very soon it's going to be introduced in USA and other countries too. Genetic screening of babies in uterus has led to the selection of more intelligent babies with the most desirable traits. If an undesirable trait is found, the baby is recommended for abortion. So now the question is, if they have the technology to manipulate the genetics of an embryo to create a superior human being, then why don't they manipulate the genetics to eradicate the hereditary disease and deformities? What's the need for abortion? Do you think they cannot do it? Well, they won't, because